The discovery that changed everything. Dear Maya Chen adjusted her diving equipment one final time before descending into the depths of the Mariana Trench. As a marine biologist specializing in deep-sea life, she had made this journey dozens of times, but today felt different. The research vessel Meridian floated 36,000 feet above her as she piloted the submersible toward coordinates that had been generating unusual sonar readings. For weeks, the ocean floor appeared barren at first glance. But Maya's trained eye caught something that didn't belong. Nestled between volcanic rocks was an object that gleamed with an inner light, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. It was roughly the size of a basketball, with a surface that seemed to shift between metallic blue and deep purple. No known marine life produced anything like it. Control, I'm seeing something unprecedented down here. Maya spoke into her headset, requesting permission to collect the specimen. Copy that, Maya. You're cleared for collection, but be careful. Those energy readings are off the charts. Using the submersible's mechanical arms, Maya carefully secured the mysterious object in a containment chamber. The moment it was sealed inside, her instruments went wild. Energy readings spiked beyond anything in her experience, and, for a brief second, she could have sworn she heard something like a whisper in her mind. Back at her remote research station on the Oregon coast, Maya worked alone. The isolation was intentional. She preferred the solitude to the politics of university research labs. Her facility was small but well equipped, situated on a cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean. It was here that she began her examination of the strange object. Under careful analysis, the object revealed itself to be organic rather than mineral. It had a shell-like exterior, but internal scans showed complex structures that resembled both neural networks and energy conduits. Most remarkably, it was warm to the touch and seemed to respond to her presence, pulsing brighter when she approached. On the third night of observation, Maya was awakened by a soft cracking sound from her laboratory. Rushing downstairs in her pajamas, she found the object had developed hairline fractures across its surface. Light leaked from these cracks, growing brighter with each passing moment. "This is impossible," she whispered, grabbing her camera too. "Document what was happening." The shell split open with a sound like wind chimes, revealing something that made Maya's scientific mind struggle to process what she was seeing. Inside was a creature no larger than a house cat, with iridescent scales that shifted color in the laboratory lights. It had 4 legs, 2 small wing buds on its back, and a serpentine neck topped with an intelligent head featuring large, luminous eyes. The creature looked directly at Maya, tilted its head, and made a sound that was half purr, half melody. Then, impossibly, it spoke directly into her mind. "Hungry," came a voice like silver bells. Cold, alone, Maya staggered backward, her scientific skepticism warring with the undeniable evidence before her eyes. The creature she couldn't bring herself to call it an animal watched her with obvious intelligence, waiting for a response. You can think. You can talk," Maya said aloud, her voice barely a whisper. "You can hear," came the reply, tinged with what seemed like surprise. "Most of the young ones cannot. You are special." Over the following weeks, Maya's life transformed completely. The creature, whom she named Nova for the way he seemed to shine with inner light, grew at an alarming rate. Within a month, he had doubled in size. His wing buds developed into functional appendages, and his scales hardened into what appeared to be natural armor. Nova's intelligence was staggering. He learned English within days of hatching, though he preferred telepathic communication. He understood complex scientific concepts and displayed curiosity about everything in Maya's laboratory. Most remarkably, he seemed to have perfect recall of events from before his hatching. "My pod traveled far," Nova explained one evening as they sat by the fireplace, "through the deep dark between stars. But something went wrong. The others, I do not know what happened to them." Maya had been documenting everything, though she hadn't dared share her findings with anyone. Nova's existence challenged every assumption about life on Earth, about intelligence, about what was possible. But as he grew larger now, the size of a large dog keeping him, secret became increasingly difficult. The first sign of trouble came when her research grant was mysteriously expanded. Dr. Richard Vance from the National Science Foundation called personally to congratulate her on her breakthrough deep-sea discoveries and to inform her that additional funding and equipment would be arriving soon. "But I haven't published anything yet," Maya protested. "Oh, we know about your work," Vance said, with a tone that made her uncomfortable. "The satellite imaging of your location has been quite interesting. We're very eager to see what you've found." That night, Maya shared her concerns with Nova, who had grown increasingly agitated over the past few days. "Others are coming," Nova said, his mental voice tight with worry. "I can sense their machines in the sky, their eyes watching from above." "What do you mean, others?" Maya asked. "Not my people, your people. The ones who seek to control rather than understand." Maya felt her blood run cold. "Government agents." "Yes, they have detected the energy I give off. They know something unusual is here, but they do not yet know what." The next morning brought confirmation of their fears. Maya spotted black SUVs parked along the coastal road leading to her facility. When she used binoculars to get a closer look, she saw figures in dark suits using electronic equipment to scan her property. "We need to leave," Maya said, her scientific mind finally accepting what her heart had known for weeks. Nova was not just an amazing discovery. He was a living being whose freedom was now at stake. "Where will we go?" Nova asked. He was now the size of a small horse, his scales a deep blue-green that reminded Maya of the ocean depths where she had found him. "I know places in the mountains where we can hide. But Nova, I need to understand more about you, about where you came from. If the government finds you, they will cage me," Nova finished. "Study me like a specimen. Use me as a weapon, perhaps. I have seen such things in your mind when you think about your species' history." Maya had to admit he was right. In the wrong hands, a creature with Nova's abilities, his intelligence, his apparent mastery of energy, his growing size and strength, become a tool of war rather than wonder. As she packed essential supplies, Maya's secure phone rang. The caller ID showed Dr. Sandra Liu, her former mentor and one of the few people she still trusted in the scientific community. "Maya, listen carefully." Sandra's voice was urgent. "There are people asking questions about your research. Official people with badges and attitudes. They're claiming you've made contact with something that poses a national security risk." "Sandra, I don't say anything over this line." "But Maya, be careful. These aren't just curious bureaucrats. They have resources, technology, and they seem very determined to find whatever you've discovered." After Sandra hung up, Maya looked at Nova, who had been listening to the conversation with obvious concern. "They are closer than we thought," Nova said. "I can feel their scanning devices getting stronger. Soon they will penetrate the shielding my natural abilities provide." Maya made her decision. Grabbing her emergency pack and research notes, she headed for the garage, where her all-terrain vehicle waited. Nova, despite his size, moved with surprising grace and silence as they prepared to flee. But as Maya raised the garage door, she froze. 3 black SUVs were pulling into her driveway, followed by a large van bristling with satellite dishes and electronic equipment. Asterisk. Dr. Chen called a woman's voice through a megaphone. "This is Agent Rebecca Torres with the Department of Homeland Security. We need to speak with you about your recent discoveries. Please come out with your hands visible." Nova pressed against Maya's side, his body radiating protective energy. "They cannot take me without a fight," he said fiercely. "No violence," Maya whispered back. "There has to be another way." Through the garage's side window, Maya could see agents deploying around her property with military precision. They carried weapons she didn't recognize, devices that hummed with their own energy signatures. Whatever they were planning, they had come prepared for something extraordinary. Maya Nova's mental voice was urgent. "There is something you must know. My growth, my abilities, they are accelerating because my people are coming. The energy you have been detecting is not just from me, it is a beacon calling them home." Maya felt the world shift beneath her feet. "How long do we have?" "Days, perhaps less. When they arrive, your government will see them as either saviors or invaders. But first, they will use me to try to understand and control what is coming." Outside, Agent Torres called again. "Dr. Chen, we know you're in there. We also know you're not alone. We're here to help, but we need your cooperation." Maya looked at Nova, this magnificent being she had come to love like family, and made the hardest decision of her life. Whatever happened next, she would not let them face it apart. "Then we run," she whispered, "and we pray we can stay ahead of them long enough to figure out how to save both our species." Asterisk. When worlds collide, Agent Rebecca Torres had been hunting unusual phenomena for 15 years. But nothing had prepared her for the energy signatures coming from Dr. Maya Chun's research facility. The readings were consistent with theoretical models for extraterrestrial technology, yet they seemed to be growing stronger by the hour. "Thermal imaging shows 2 heat signatures in the garage," reported Agent Martinez from the surveillance van, one human-sized, one significantly larger. "The larger signature is unlike anything in our database." Torres adjusted her earpiece. "Dr. Chen, you have 30 seconds to respond before we breach the building. We know you've made a discovery of national importance. We're here to ensure both your safety and national security." Inside the garage, Maya's mind raced through options. Nova had grown to nearly 8 feet in length, his wingspan now over 12 feet when fully extended. His scales had taken on an armor-like quality, and when he was agitated, they emitted a soft bioluminescent glow that would be impossible to hide. "There is another way out," Nova said suddenly. "Through the cliff face behind your laboratory. I can create an opening." "How?" Maya asked. In response, Nova opened his mouth and released not fire, but a focused beam of energy that cut through the garage's rear wall like a hot knife through butter. The cut was perfectly smooth, creating a hole just large enough for them to escape through. "My people's gifts are not what your stories suggest," Nova explained as they slipped through the opening. "We shape matter and energy, not destroy with flame." They emerged onto the rocky cliffs behind Maya's laboratory, the Pacific Ocean crashing against the rocks below. Maya had explored these trails during her morning runs, but never with government agents in pursuit and a dragon as her companion. "This way," she whispered, leading Nova along a narrow path that wound down toward the water. There's a sea cave system that connects to an old mining tunnel. It should hide us until we can figure out our next move. Behind them, they heard the sound of the garage door being breached, followed by shouts of confusion as the agents discovered their escape route. They will follow soon, Nova warned. Their devices can track the energy I emit, as if to confirm his words. Maya heard the distinctive whop-whop of helicopter blades approaching from the north. Whatever resources the government had dedicated to finding them, they were considerable. The sea cave was larger than Maya remembered, with chambers that extended deep into the cliff face. Bioluminescent algae provided a soft, eerie light that revealed ancient rock formations. Nova moved through the water with surprising grace, his body undulating like a sea serpent. "We can't stay here long," Maya said, checking her phone for signal. But maybe long enough till her phone buzzed with an encrypted message from Dr. Sandra Liu. Maya, if you're reading this, meet me at the Cascades research station. Others like you have made contact. You're not alone. Others like me. Maya whispered. Nova's head snapped up, his eyes wide with excitement. Others have found my people. There are more of us here. Maya quickly typed back. How many others? Are they safe? The response came quickly. 3 confirmed. Government is forming a task force, but there's a resistance within the scientific community. We're trying to protect them. Maya Nova's mental voice was urgent. I sense something approaching. Not your people's machines. Something else above them. The water in the cave began to glow with the same inner light that had emanated from Nova's egg. The illumination grew brighter, and Maya felt a vibration that seemed to resonate in her bones. What is that? She asked. My people, Nova replied, his voice filled with wonder and apprehension. They have come. The water erupted upward as something massive breached the surface of the ocean outside the cave. Through the cave opening, Maya could see a shape that defied easy description, organic yet technological, beautiful yet alien. It was easily the size of a city block, hovering over the water with no visible means of support. Nova called out in harmonics that Maya felt rather than heard, complex tones that seemed to carry layers of meaning. The response that came back was immediate and overwhelming, dozens of voices speaking in the same harmonic language, welcoming and questioning in equal measure. They have been searching for survivors. Nova translated, tears of joy streaming down his scaled cheeks. My pod was one of many that were scattered when they encountered your planet's magnetic field. Most were lost, but some survived. Maya's radio crackled with frantic communications from the government forces above. Unknown aircraft over the Pacific. Massive energy signatures. Request immediate backup. Nova, can you tell them we're not a threat? Maya asked desperately. I am trying, but they are afraid. Both sides fear what they do not understand. The situation escalated rapidly. Military jets screamed overhead, while the alien vessel remained motionless over the ocean. Nova was in telepathic communication with both his people and Maya, serving as a bridge between two species on the brink of misunderstanding. The elders want to take me home, Nova explained. They say your species is too primitive, too violent, to be trusted with our presence. And what do you want? Maya asked asterisk. Nova looked at her with those luminous eyes that had first captured her heart weeks ago. I want both worlds to survive. You saved me, Maya. You showed me that your people are capable of love, curiosity, and compassion. But now I must convince my people of this truth. Agent Torres's voice echoed down from the cliff above. Dr. Chen, we know you're down there. The situation has escalated beyond our control. If you can communicate with them, we need you to help us avoid a conflict. Maya looked at Nova, then at the alien vessel visible through the cave opening. Fighter jets circled it like angry wasps, while the ship remained serenely still. Tell your people that I'll come with you, Maya called up to Torres. But as Nova's guardian, not as a prisoner. If they want to communicate with your species, it has to be through the bond we've formed. 20 minutes later, Maya found herself in the most surreal situation of her life. She sat in a hastily assembled command center on the cliff top, with Nova beside her, serving as translator between humans and aliens. Agent Torres paced nervously while military commanders argued over communication channels, and overhead, the impossible ship waited. Tell them we mean no harm, General Morrison commanded, but they need to understand that we won't tolerate threats to our planet. Nova's harmonics carried the message upward, and the response came back immediately. They say your weapons cannot harm them, but they do not wish to demonstrate this fact, Nova translated. They only want to retrieve their lost children and leave in peace. What about you? Torres asked Nova directly. Will you go with them? Nova was quiet for a long moment, his eyes fixed on Maya. I am changed by my time here, he finally said. I am not the same being who hatched in Maya's laboratory. I am something new, something that belongs to both worlds. Maya felt her heart breaking. Nova, you should go home. You've been alone for so long. Home is not a place, Maya. It is where you are loved and where you love in return. You are my family now. The alien ship pulsed with brighter light, and suddenly 3 figures descended on beams of energy. They were adult versions of Nova, magnificent, ancient, beautiful beings that radiated wisdom and power. When they spoke, their harmonics made the ground vibrate. Young one, their leader said, you have grown beyond our expectations. The bond you have formed with this human is unprecedented. Maya stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. We offer friendship, she said simply. Your child Nova has taught us that intelligence takes many forms. We want to learn from each other. The elder being studied Maya with eyes that seemed to contain galaxies. You speak of learning, yet your kind builds weapons and wages wars. Some of us do, Maya admitted, but others explore, discover, and protect. Nova has seen both sides of humanity, and he chose to trust us. Can you do the same? The conversation that followed would later be recorded as humanity's first formal, diplomatic contact with an alien species. It was decided that Nova would remain on Earth as an ambassador, with Maya as his official guardian and humanity's first xenological liaison. A small group of his people would establish a hidden base in the deep ocean, gradually introducing advanced concepts to human scientists who had proven themselves worthy of trust. Agent Torres, despite her initial suspicions, became the government liaison for what would eventually be known as the Cetacean Protocol, humanity's first interspecies cooperation agreement. Dr. Sandra Liu and her network of scientists became the core of a new research initiative focused on peaceful contact and cultural exchange. As the alien ship departed, leaving behind 3 volunteers who would work with human scientists, Nova spread his wings and took his first true flight over the Pacific Ocean. Maya watched from the cliff, knowing that everything had changed. What happens now? Torres asked. Maya smiled, watching Nova soar through the sunset sky. Now we learn, we grow. We prove that humanity is ready to join a larger community among the stars. Nova's telepathic voice reached her across the distance. Thank you, Maya, for showing me that family is not about species or origin, but about choosing to love and protect each other. In the months that followed, Maya would establish the first Institute for Interspecies Studies with Nova as her co-director. Together, they would guide humanity's first steps toward a future among the stars, proving that sometimes the most extraordinary discoveries come not from seeking the unknown, but from choosing to love and protect what we find there. The age of isolation was over. The age of wonder had begun. Asterisk.